the very first thing that happened to me was a beautiful smile on the face of a beautiful lady. And I've loved smiles on ladies' beautiful faces ever since. And that was Mother. I stand on the shoulders of Jim and Dennis and stand on the shoulders of this community where people here were previously and people are here today. The first view I had, I think, of the world was sitting and standing on the shoulders of my father. And ever since that, I've been standing on the shoulders of others in the community. And I feel that way when I have the opportunity to go to this station to take my life, my career, my preparation for life in with Dennis and Jim and to share it with the community. And every time I leave there, get back in the automobile and come back to Jamestown, I leave there a better person and a more comforting person than I was when I walked in the front door. So it's very easy and it's very enjoyable to be part of that. Over the years, I've been being part of the activity and the life of this community. A lot of it hovering around the Marvin House with the Woman of the Year project. And what an opportunity that is to see the smiling faces of beautiful women, just like my mother's down that very first moment in my life. All of those exciting things have been able to happen to me. I am not a builder, I'm a recipient of builders. And have a chance, as I've said before, being born left-handed and living baseball, that helped create what for me has been a haven. Because I learned early that in a baseball team, a left-hander can only do a few things on the baseball team other than carrying water and go chasing foul balls. But you need to get that right-hander, the other team members, to make out that roster so you have a winning championship. So I'm very glad that I was one of the left-handers that had to struggle and get surrounded by right-handers. And the other thing I often say, and I mean this sincerely, when he says, "I'm Jim Roselle," I say, boy, I wished I was. Because to be a Jim Roselle and to be a Dennis Webster, what a marvelous gift that would be. How did it all happen? Being interested and involved in sports, and the interest and the remarkable gift that we've had in this community is WJTN. Started, has been, and will always be a local radio station. The radio sports team was always interested in what the 9-year-old ball player was doing at Lincoln Field, what the major league prospect was doing at the stadium, and they put it on the air. So they would call and they would open the door and they would open the airwaves to the youngsters, myself and others, playing ball on the various ball fields. And we were able to share that. So that made me an immediate interest in the world of radio. And then to go on, and as the life days begin to add, to meet those personalities, to hear of Doc Webster, and then, oh, Dennis Webster, who's Dennis? That's his son. Oh boy, what a revelation that was. And to hear of Jim Roselle, and I remember Jim Roselle from a distance participating at the Boys Club, and to realize that Jim Roselle, that's really Jim Roselle? No wonder I would like to be Jim Roselle. And have the opportunity to go in and sit in that station, and not feeling like an outsider, not feeling like a non-participant, and not being more nervous when they put the mic in front of me, but to be able to be part of that has been overwhelming and a great opportunity. I feel very humble about that, and I feel very, very bad for some of the other people that haven't had the opportunity to go to that radio station and sit down with the microphone. Jim said he never met a microphone he didn't like. I never met a microphone I wasn't afraid of. Jim tells a story, he was emceeing a banquet and he gave the microphone to somebody, and 45 minutes later, he still hadn't got the microphone back again. So microphone time is very important. But to be part of that medium, to be part of that in this community, and to be part of the fabric of this community has just been overwhelming. I would have never thought that when I was that little one that smiled at Mother and sat on my dad's shoulders, that someday I would be sitting in a chair at WJTN with these gentlemen and with you as a listening audience. And when I never felt that I would walk out onto a baseball field, I never thought that I would graduate from high school. I never thought when I walked by or drove by and saw the building down there on Chandler Street called MRC, that someday I would have my hand in there creating ball bearings and to be part of that. I never thought that from playing baseball on those ball fields, but thanks to the media, the community knew that I was doing that. And that's how Jim Sharp, who was then recreation director, took me by the hand. And one day I'd be able to sit in a chair, not fill his shoes, but sit in a chair that Jim Sharp sat in. And that's because I could go into a station and be in the company of and participating on the same airwaves at the very same moment as Dennis Webster and Jim Roselle happened to me. And that's been a very humble and a very grateful experience. I don't know whether I got 2 days or 2,005 days left, but I will not have enough days to fill the gift of which they and others have given to me. Dennis, thank you. I want to give Jim Roselle his first microphone. Sat on the porch on Franklin and broadcast Notre Dame football using a spoon or a stick. Times of your life, on page. Local man at the time was in the media business, newspaper, area newspapers, and had an interest in the community. Talked to Jim and said, I have an idea for a program. Maybe we could do something on the airwaves. And the conversation settled around the idea of all of the wonderful people in this community that we could sit down, that Jim could sit down with and talk about their lives and about all of their various experiences. And they said, but Jim said, well, I'll need some help. He says, because I got to keep my cup of happiness full. Who can we get to help keep my coffee cup full? And the guy said, well, there's a Diethrick kid running around, not doing anything right now. So let's see, put the two together. And that become the times of your life, and it's been going on ever since. And as Jim says many times, everybody in this room and outside of this room have a story and have a story to tell. And Jim has had the mechanisms, starting with the spoon on Franklin Street, to pull that story out of people and to share it. 1934, Patton, Pennsylvania, in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. Father was a coal miner, and my mother was at home. And that was 1934. October 9th was the last day of the 1934 World Series. And while my father was in the coal mines and the baseball games were going on, and my mother was waiting to see who was knocking at the door, and for me to smile at that beautiful face, I was born on that World Series day. My mother was keeping box scores of the World Series, so when my father got home from the coal mines, he would have the box score of the World Series ball game. So I had to be a baseball fan, coming out and all of that, and having listened to that, and telling, oh no, mommy, that was an error, it was a base hit. I was telling her that from in the depths of her soul. And to have been part of that made me a baseball fan. It made me a Tiger fan, it made me a Cardinal fan. And somehow the Yankee got involved someplace along the line, but it made me a baseball fan. And the foundation that I was able to stand upon the shoulders of thousands and thousands of other people, they were standing on the foundation of baseball. And that's where my life took me, to Lincoln Field, took me to the stadium, took me into high school baseball, took me into the recreation department, took me into being involved with Greg and others on professional baseball in our community. I always have had that with me. If it hadn't been for October 9th, 1934, at the World Series, I wouldn't be going to Babe Ruth World Series today and being part of that activity. So if that's the path you had in mind, Greg, that's how it all happened.